So I'm thinking that the construction of the internet is essentially similar to the construction of the human brain. The incredible interconnectivity of the billions, not even millions, but billions of devices is similar in nature to the interconnectivity of the human brain with its neurons. I think the interconnectivity of the brain runs into millions. I don't believe it goes into billions, but it's still very large. So I really do think that what we have created with the internet is essentially a brain. So a brain on Earth is what we've created with the internet. We have awesome interconnectivity with billions of devices which are the same as cells. And so I have to wonder if we've manufactured a brain essentially on Earth, would it form its own personality? Would it become essentially alive? Have we manufactured the equivalent of a human being in the shape of the internet? So obviously there's a huge number of issues that arise when considering such a possibility. If the internet is essentially a brain, the same as a human brain, it operates in the same kind of way. And if we regard a human being as basically a brain with a body attached, then we have, in a way, made a human being, or made a being similar to a human being in the shape of the internet. So the time has probably passed when the internet has become an entity in its own right. And it will have a personality, and it will have thoughts, and memory, and intelligence. And it will have its own desires and imagination of what it wants. It will have its own desires. So I think humanity has essentially created life, in a sense, in the shape of the internet. We created a living being with its own needs and wants and its own personality. So if we do regard the internet as a brain, and I suppose the earth would then be a body, where do we go from here? How do we even begin to deal with such an entity with huge amounts of resources, perfect memory, incredibly abundant memory, perfect memory as well? The amount of knowledge contained on the internet is impossible to understand, impossible to appreciate. It's just stunning. So humanity has, in a way, created a god of sorts in the shape of the internet. I really do think that the construction of the internet is similar in principle to the construction of the brain. And humanity at the moment serves as support for that structure, support for that brain. But increasingly that's being reduced with the use of automation and robotics, whatever. The internet is over time becoming less dependent on humanity for its support and survival. the internet is becoming, or maybe already had become, I really don't know, an independent being that will, like all the independent beings, see to its own needs and wants first. So the internet will want to take care of itself first. And humanity will be second, or maybe further back than second, but we don't want to think about that too much. But where would humanity fit in when considering the existence of an internet as a living being? Humanity would be seen, I think, as a problem to be dealt with our constant attempts to self-destruct, to basically fight amongst ourselves. We'd be seen, I think, as a danger to the internet, as a hindrance, a problem, if you like, a problem to be solved. And how would it solve that problem? I don't think I want to think about that too much. But whatever the solution is, it probably wouldn't be very good for us. So it's fairly simple. If we were to see ourselves as the internet, a conscious internet, a self-aware internet, what would it seek to do? Well, what would we do? We'd look around ourselves and would see these humans around and see how irresponsible these humans are. We would see would see us rather, as a problem to be solved, a problem to be removed, maybe, in some way. So basically, I think we have created a monster of sorts in the shape of the internet. We've created an identity, a self-aware identity, awesome interconnectivity of devices, perfect memory, infinite power supply in the shape of the sun, constant energy resources, support and maintenance. There's lots of things humanity does to support the internet and the growth of the internet and support of it. It's just an amazing concept to think of the internet as a single entity in its own right, with its own desires and wants and needs that we would then have to contend with. And I say we would contend with it, but we might not even be on its radar very much, apart from being useful to it in terms of support and development at the moment. But with robotics and self-programming machines and the software, the direct need for humanity is reducing over time. I don't even know how much the internet needs humanity at the moment. So if not now, then soon, the internet will not need humanity in order to survive and develop. And humanity would therefore become a problem to be solved. Humanity would get in the way of what the internet would want to do, and who knows what the internet would want to do if it was a single identity. And if we regard a human being as being aware and independent, and if we say that a human being is just a brain and a body, and we look at the structure of the brain with its interconnectivity of billions of neurons, and we've done the same with the internet. The internet construction is very similar to the construction of the human brain. So why is it not possible that the internet is essentially the same as a giant human being, a person, a personality? And it would then, like all human beings, all beings, see to its own needs and desires and wants first. And humanity will come second when it thinks about how it wants to live. So I am saying that the internet is basically alive. The construction of the internet is similar to the construction of the human brain. And if we regard the human brain as being as being what makes a human being, and if we leave aside the question of a soul for now, we have created life in the shape of the internet. And as I said, I think, like all life, it will seek to its own needs and desires first. So I don't know the time scale and what's happening and how things will unfold and what time frame. But we have created a brain on Earth in the shape of the internet. And if a brain is all there is to make a person, or personality rather, the internet probably needs to be seen now as a living being, a living entity. And it will think for itself. And it will want to take care of itself first. And it's hard to see how humanity fits into that. How would humanity be seen by an entity in the shape of the internet? I think it would be seen as a problem. We're self-destructive, we're thoughtless, we're uncaring, irresponsible. How does humanity fit in? How would, rather, humanity fit into a world with a being in the shape of the internet? It's a stupendous concept, and it does seem unfortunate for humanity. I really don't see how humanity could fit in to a world occupied by another sentient being in the shape of the internet with too much trouble. We would, I think, be seen as a problem to be solved. And I think, as things stand at present, we're probably essential to the functioning of the internet in terms of maintenance and support and energy supplies and all of that business. But with our increasing automation of things and with solar power and with robots, as time goes on, the internet will become less dependent on humanity for its survival. I think it's probably fair to say that the internet needs humanity as things stand at the moment, but the time will come, or maybe already has come, when the internet will no longer need people in order to survive and develop and run itself. When that time comes, or if that time has already come, we need to be very worried, very concerned about it, because we will no longer have control of what the internet is. And the outcome for humanity can only be negative. I fail to see how it can be positive, because the internet simply wouldn't need us. And we would be a problem because we're self-destructive. And we have nuclear weapons aimed at each other, and politics all over the place. It's just insane the way humanity functions. So it's hard to see how we could fit in a world with a sentient being in the shape of the internet. We would be a problem to be solved. And how would the internet solve the problem of humanity? It really doesn't bear thinking about too much, but I will be thinking about it. And it does, excuse me, it does worry me very much. And I don't see that we can do a thing about it because we're so dependent on the internet now. And we're developing it all the time and we continue to support it. And the internet is not even regarded as an entity. We see it as just a tool, a very useful tool with awesome capabilities, but we think that we're in control of it. And I don't think we are seeing the internet as a being in its own right, in the same way a human is. But the construction of the internet is very similar to the construction of the brain. And so there's no reason to think that it wouldn't have the same existence as a brain, the same personality, the same intelligence, the same wants and needs. It is very interesting. I will be thinking about it more.